Here we have the MAPAKU. Up there we have the diagram. 9 by 9 because each card. We have 3 by 3 would be what Sudoku would be like. This would be Sudoku. 9 by 981 box. And this would be the MAPAKU with this solution, with this combination of reflexes. Let's build a Sudoku. A Sudoku that has a particularity. What is a MAPAKU Sudoku? Okay. The particularity, as I have already explained, is that the figure is not repeated in the same place. In any of the quadrants is each small 3 by 3 diagram. Okay, this is a sector. These are the 3 by 3 9 sectors. And these are the princesses. That every arrow or every MAPAKU key, that these are the keys to MAPAKU, corresponds or commands over one of the Sudoku sectors. Okay, well, I will repeat this in each of the tutorials. To be clear, what we are going to solve is this MAPAKU Sudoku. What does it mean that we are going to achieve? That by following the arrangement of these keys, that we used to have to distribute in the right way, complying with the rules of the MAPAKU keys. MAPAKU keys have their own rules, combination to be able to, by applying them on a Sudoku. These characteristics are given, but rather, no MAPAKU Sudoku is given. Agree, therefore. I will explain the keys quickly, although then there are more specific tutorials, just so you can understand. In these keys, for example, because one of the conditions of the rules is that none arrow directions cannot be repeated. Cannot be repeated vertically. No key that has one of the two or one in horizontal direction. In the same horizontal direction, i.e., for example, this one from here, we have the address. First and second directions, the first direction is to the right, and the second to the left. In vertical, we have this, which is also to the right. What does it mean that this address is repeated here? Okay, we have this address, which is to the right. Well, seen on screen is to the left, but the same address is this one. Therefore, it no longer complies here. One of the rules. Another of the second rules is that horizontally cannot be repeated. No key. No key address. No key with the same vertical address. Both up and down, i.e. horizontally, I repeat horizontally, i.e. in rows. No key may be repeated with if it contains the same vertical address in another letter. That is, here we have this letter, this key which is upward direction. And here we have another one than his second address. Its second movement is also upward. Therefore, these two cannot be at the same time. Row is worth. These are columns, and these are rows. Therefore, we are going to position it well. Is in principle because I could no longer go here, as we see vertically, We are repeating. Also vertical directions. No voucher is repeated here. Although here it looks like this one is going. Is correct? This one we have to change. We have to put it somewhere else, okay? So we are going to put here one that works well for us. Is vertical. Here we have one to the left and one to the right. These two do not sculpt. Between them we have to put another one. That you do not even have this horizontal address, nor this horizontal address. This one already has it, so it wouldn't be worth it either. This one either, because it also has it. We are talking about vertical. We cannot repeat the same horizontally. This one has a horizontal one that goes there. I still couldn't. This one either, because it comes this far, therefore we still have to put one of these two. Okay, either one would be fine because as it goes upwards, does not get in the way, does not repeat. This one goes to the right and is to the left and upwards. Would therefore be well distributed in this column. Let's go to this one. Well, this. We can observe that the ones we have now in place has one to the right. We are also in columns. Therefore, we will not repeat horizontal directions. Is always the opposite. This direction is that way. And this A address is this way, therefore. Neither of the two keys, neither of the two cards contains a horizontal address in the same sense. Because this one is on the right and is to the left, would be fine. Very good. Then we can put this one here and we will see if it also complies with the rules. Then we will check in rows, okay? Then we will check in rows. In rows, for example, these. We do not repeat. In row, we do not repeat vertical directions. This one goes up, this one goes to the right, this one goes down. Therefore, vertically, it goes in the opposite direction. This row is going well, this row would be fine. Let's see this row. We are saying that this one has an upward direction. And here it is the same. Because in theory, we could not put it here. Okay, we would have to put a to go to. In another direction, it could be this one. Or it could also be this one here, okay. You say, well, it's not that this one is headed downwards. Good, but you have this one to the left and down. We have said that in rows we cannot repeat. Vertical directions. Here we do not repeat any voucher. And in verticals here we are not repeating any of them. We are repeating the directions vertically. But since it is a column, these two look good. Do not break the rule. Let's put this one here to see what happens. If we continue in columns, does not repeat horizontally very well. This one does not repeat horizontally. And as it goes vertically, it does not affect. Here we have in this row, we have this one we will not repeat in rows. I repeat, we will not repeat in rows. Vertical directions in the same direction. What we have of vertical directions in this row, it is downward and to the left. Upwards this, as it is horizontal, nothing happens, okay? Therefore, by not repeating this, would also be complying with the rule. These comply. This birthday, and now we have it. That all 9 keys are being met. This one is immovable. This is the one that marks the starting point. What does it mean? That here we will have to place any letter that does not matter. Any letter, any position in the figure. We can place it in the center either. It is not mandatory to place a, because we are going to build a MAPAKU. With this MAPAKU combinations, With this MAPAKU, we are going to make a Sudoku MAPAKU. If you want, let's put this one I have here. The first one is worth. We put it in the center because this is the one in charge. Okay, this one is here. This is the first position of the one in the figure. We are going to put the letter that corresponds to this sector, and that tells us the direction you have taken. The figure, if it is here, I understand that it translates and uploads this means that a box goes up. We have to choose a letter that the figure is. An upward movement would be this OK. Let's take any key this. This means that always starting from the same. The figure has to move there. What does it mean that if it moves? But look at it, it would appear here. At this point it seems, but in this letter it cannot be because it is already occupied. Would be to occupy this exhibition. By checking this key at this address. Here we will have to put a letter in which the figure has moved to the right. One box, but as it goes outside it comes back here. Therefore we have to choose a. If the figure is in, here it would be the correct one. And so on. Let's do this would be this movement. We must always start from here, from where we are in charge. The card or key. Central no movement. Part of here makes a movement. Let's apply this key. Makes a movement to the left and then goes up. Here we would have to put a letter that has made this move. One letter that the figure has made this movement. Which one is it then? It's this one, okay. And so on, we are going to apply this, that it must be said that this one has gone down below. For this is not, let's look for it. We have this one would correspond there. Why? Because if the figure is here, it moves. Sorry, this sector is marking. The good thing is right here. Why? Because this letter rules over this sector, not over this. About this sector, send this letter. This key must be applied in this sector, which says that the figure, downhill, a box or a period, and it comes here. Therefore, we have less left. It is no longer worth this one that would be. That the figure would go to the left and then descend. Well, let's look for one that is the one below. We are applying this in this sector, what a card, for this letter, which tells us the key, which has made a leftward movement and has gone down. It's as simple as that. Let's not see if we are doing well for the time being. If we go, in fact, we are no longer repeating any, horizontally or vertically. Okay, well, let's apply this one, for example, which is simple. If it is here, we will go upstairs. What would it be then? We already have this one. Applied in this sector would be this, a movement to the left. Sam, always starting from the one that marks the center, would be a letter. We would choose to put a letter here. That the figure has moved. In the center, no. Here are two but good. We are talking about the same figure with different. Tomas can say homophobic, but it is the same figure, that of PERSIMON. This would correspond to this sector that commands us. That has been moved by a left wing. Then we have two left. This one tells us that the figure goes out. And low, if it goes out in theory, it would be that it would occupy that. And down would be the correct position of the figure. According to this movement. Right down, right down. But since it can't go there, we're going to do it right. We go here and down, so here we would choose a card that the figure is occupying this position. And we usually have some left that we are going to justify. Why if it is right? That is, if we take here, we go to the right. As this key, which is the key for this sector, says, is this sector? Says we move to the right. We come back here and up. And right and top right. If we were to pass here, we would have the figure here and would raise this position. Would be the right one. We have to choose a card. that the new position according to this key of the figure is this one, which is this. There is the balance, and then we are going to check now. In principle, as we have each figure at a point, does not repeat in the same position, but also complies with the 2 rules of Sudoku, which is what we repeat in seeing in the same row, in the same column. Is like this one is here does not match. This one is in the middle. This is the left. We have made you a Sudoku. If we were to complete here with other types of figures, colors, whatever, and do the same operation, we would have a complete Sudoku of each of those of the decades.